Baby. It's your boy Shaka B and that mafioso that done died. The coldest ninja with an untucked swinging behind his back, aka Shaka Blacc, aka Shaka B and aka SB Panther, aka Shaka on Flame, man. Listen, bro.
We back home. We just got off the plane, and we had to hurry back to make it to talk to the champ.
The story to get here is an episode in itself.
Yeah, for sure.
Well worth it.
So if you're a fan of the sweet science like I am, the term champ just can't be thrown around loosely. There's only one champ at a time. There's a lot of fighters. There's a lot of champions.
Yeah.
But there's only one champ. Fact. Champ is the pound for pound champ.
Number
undisputed.
One. Right.
Yes, correct.
Hey, and you knew Terrence Crawford fans, bro. Let me tell you something, bro. I was rooting for Crawford way before y'all was, bro. Like, he won, he beat Spence, and now it's a bunch of King Crawfords and all that. Listen, bro, I don't out of worship and I don't tip ride nobody, right? So all that, man, missed me with that, bro. Go to my old videos and I always thought Crawford was gonna win over Spence. Just because I'm unbiased and I say certain things doesn't mean you know what the fuck you talking about when it come to me, bro.
So we have the champ Terrence Crawford in the building. Bud just came off the biggest fight of the year. Very impressive fight. I knew you was gonna win, but I didn't think that it was gonna be in that fashion. Shout out to Errol Spence. But just I think you won every single round except for the first one, maybe. And now you're undefeated, 40-0, I believe.
Yep.
You are pound for pound, best fighter in the game.
Yep.
You have 4 belts?
5, including the ring belt.
5 belts. And you're just at the top of the world right now. So we're going to talk about a variety of different things, but first and foremost, thank you for joining us. Appreciate it.
Appreciate you having me.
Yeah, for sure.
This is the first champ.
No, we interviewed Floyd.
That's true, but he's not, he's retired. This is the champ.
Yeah, no, but I'm just saying.
Great, all-time great. Active. I want to get
bringing somebody.
Not just the biggest fight of the year, the most dominant fight of the year.
Yeah,
it was crazy. I had it on pay-per-view. I was like, wow,
$85.
It was just a different look in you. But we definitely both picked you to win.
So let's talk about this. We're gonna talk about the business. We're gonna talk about a variety of different things. But let's start with the obvious. You just came off that fight. What's the mindset going into that fight? A lot of people
them boys
did not pick you to win. Said that you were smaller than him, and I ain't seen anybody disrespect you, but a lot of people just thought that you were not going to be the winner. And like I said, not only did you win, but you won in extremely convincing fashion. So what's the mindset of you in training camp leading up to this fight, knowing that that's going to be the biggest fight of your career so far?
Well, my mindset is always win at all costs. Make sure that I'm in 110%
right
shape, prepared for whatever the opponent brings to the table. Make sure that I'm at the best of my abilities going into the fight. So I don't have to worry about nobody else. A lot of people ask me, what you got to do to win the fight? I just say, be myself. I always say that because I honestly feel as if...
Hey, bro coming off extremely humble to have proved all them people wrong, because Vegas had Crawford, but the people definitely did not go for Crawford.
I'm Terrence Crawford. Can't nobody beat me unless I beat myself.
Yeah. So first round they didn't give to you. Second round, some things changed.
Pretty even.
Is that the turning point in your mind? Like, all right, he's hit me with something. This is all he has. It's time to put this work in.
He said it plenty of time.
I don't really think he hit me with nothing telling in the first round. I think the first round was more so a fell-out round. I don't think either one of us did anything really in the first round. So I really didn't understand, how people had me losing it. Maybe because he was coming forward a little more and he was pressing the action a little more. So they just
let's be real, it was bias.
Gave it to him on aggression, but all in all, neither one of us really was doing too much in the first round. In the second round, things start picking up a little more than there was in the first round. I got the knockdown, and that changed the fight from there on.
That was second round.
So I always wondered this as a fighter, right? There has to be some level of, are you ever nervous, scared, doubt? Like, not only can you lose, but you can potentially get hurt
he had
bad.
to lose himself in the music. The moment you want it, you better never let it go. You only get one shot.
Right?
That's
So
how he was
going
feeling.
into the fight, like mentally, how is that process
This
for you?
opportunity comes
Well,
once in a
everybody get nervous.
lifetime.
Exactly.
Exactly.
when these fighters say they don't, they lying. Everybody get nervous because what's at stake.
Bro said knees weak, palms are sweaty.
Doubt, I wouldn't say, like, it crossed your mind in training camp and stuff like that, but that's when you got to push harder in training camp when you got that doubt in your mind. So going into the fight, there's no doubt. There's no doubt whatsoever what's going to happen because I know I put the work in. So I don't worry about those thoughts going into the fight.
Yeah, I mean, after you win, and like when I'm watching this, when it gets stopped in the 9th round, I'm thinking to myself, that was pretty dominant, right? And I know there's a rematch clause, but in my head, I'm thinking to myself, are you looking at like, I've dominated this fight so much, like who is my next challenger, right? Because I seen there was some talk from the ringside to Charlo. I saw the look in your eye when you like, yo, I'm that guy. Like, what's your mindset right after that? Like, I just put him down. Who's next?
No, my mental was just what you seen. I went straight to the next champion in the next division, and that was Jermell Charlo. Me moving up, he got all the belts. He got to see me, and that's how I felt. Like, all right, letting him know, put him on notice that I'm coming for him.
Yeah, I see that. I'm like, first I'm like, who's he talking to? Then I realized it. I'm like, all right, automatically I've done this. In your mind, it's like, you're gonna have to move up and weight, right? Because originally he was supposed to fight Alvarez. That kind of didn't work. So like,
he's fighting Canelo.
I thought it was his twin brother who was fighting him.
No, that's him.
Okay.
He's fighting Canelo.
So after he does that, is that something you're looking like, all right?
Yeah, if he come back in, win his title against Tim Tszyu, then that'd be a mega fight.
The rematch clause is up to Spence if he wants to exercise it.
Right.
So assuming that he's gonna do that, I'm assuming that he would do it. I don't see why he wouldn't.
I know why he would.
You want to fight that? Because people, let me ask you
why
this.
he would.
Some people say he was dehydrated and drained. That's why it looked so lopsided because he came down in weight.
Well, you gotta understand, my whole career, people been
making excuses,
giving excuses for fighters that I've been in the ring with. A lot of people say, "Oh man, you ain't fought nobody," or "You fighting washed up guys," or "You fighting over the hill champions," or "This guy didn't train properly," or "This guy did this and this."
Y'all know this. Simple polo unit, no jewelry on, nothing. That's discipline. That's what I'm telling y'all. These dudes behind him got more ice on than Terrence Crawford, and we know he just made $25 million off that fight.
This guy did that. So if you watch my interviews when talking about a fight with Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence Jr., you will see that I always said, once I beat you and I make you look ordinary, they're gonna have an excuse. Spence never came out with one excuse. He never said anything about nothing. He just said the better man won.
Have they talked?
But in their mind, they just can't understand the fact that I won in that fashion. So they like, something has to be wrong because this guy is not that good. That's what they think.
Disbelief.
But once a fighter get in the ring with me and it happens over and over and over, then they'll say, "Oh, well, this is the reason why he won like that," or "This is the reason why, he lost like that." Not giving me my credit and saying that he knocked out every welterweight that was put in front of him.
Now, this fight was highly anticipated. It was something that obviously we wanted to see for years. The business of it is interesting, right? Because he has the opportunity to exercise the rematch clause. How did that business work out where, like, who's the A side, who's the B side, because we've seen that plenty of times where that holds up a fight and people won't do it because they're like, I'm not the B side. How did that work between y'all in the negotiations of it?
Well, I really didn't care the A side or the B side. You know, I just wanted to fight. As long as the business behind closed doors was right, then we had to fight. You know, I didn't really care if the poster says Spence Crawford, Crawford Spence. At the end of the day, we got to fight.
Right.
Long as, you know, the business is right, you know, I'm cool with it.
So over the last 5 years, we've been seeing a lot of these mega fights taking place, right? And that was a knock on boxing for a long time, that the fights that the public wanted to see were not taking place. What do you credit that to? I see you guys kind of thanked each other for making the fight happen. So do you credit that to the boxers, or do you credit that to, you know, the promotional company?
We know what it is, man. After Floyd Mayweather made, I think he became, if not the highest paid, one of the highest paid athletes, because the stigma of having an undefeated fighter was just selling so much. He was the first to go undefeated, 50-0. You know what I'm saying? So that was a thing, and now it's like every fighter is going after that business model of an undefeated fighter. They starting to crumble that, and we starting to get back to boxing. You know what I'm saying? Take that, lose that. Oh man, we want to see knockouts. We want to see great fights, and this year we've been seeing them.
Companies, like what has moved the sport forward, where now guys are actually really fighting each other?
I credit the fighters. You know, I really believe me and Spence was a big part of making this fight happen. You know, if me and him wouldn't have gotten on the phone and talked out some issues that we was having with the lawyers and stuff like that, then who knows if the fight would have continued. You know, so I'm a firm believer as the fighters make the fights if they really want them. Because if I want to fight you and you want to fight me, you going to go to your peoples and say, hey, look, I want to fight him and I don't care about nothing else. You know, they might be looking out for you and say, all right, well, if you going to fight him, we want you to get this or we want you to get that. And you may be like, nah, we ain't gonna get over on him. I'm gonna take this and he gonna take that and we gonna fight. You know, so I feel as if a lot of fighters, they hide behind a promotional company or their management company or their advisors and things like that. And that's why a lot of fights don't get done, or one's ego is bigger than the other. And instead of coming together, you want to try to take the biggest pot because you feel as if you bringing more to the table when both of y'all bringing a lot to the table.
Apparently Shakur is having this problem. He asking for too big of a bag. I feel like he need to get his name up more. And y'all see how De La Hoya did Garcia after he took that first loss.
Because both of y'all is stars. So
that's an excuse when boxers say, like, talk to my promoter or my promoter. That's that they're using that as an excuse.
Oh yeah, for sure.
The top ranked guy won't fight the premier guy. Won't fight.
And it happened plenty of times. You seen Tyson Fury fight Deontay Wilder. You seen Lomachenko fight Gary Russell Jr. I didn't fought two PBC.
And I went over that Lomachenko Haney fight. Haney won, bro. All that crybaby. It was a close fight and blah, blah, blah. Nah, Haney was coming with the body the whole time with consistency, but the crowd was biased towards Lomachenko, and the commentators were only showing Lomachenko highlights. Lomachenko would get some good face shots, and he hit that jab was coming through, but Haney was working the body every round. To give Lomachenko even 6 rounds in the Haney fight, I feel like, bruh, that'd be a stretch, and you putting too much sauce on it. He didn't win that fight.
Fighters, but when it came to me fighting one of the champions, that's when it got.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Don't embarrass our guy.
No, it's just like, you know, you're not about to come over here and beat one of our guys and take a title back to your promotional company, and we don't have no ties with you. And it's just like, now what do we got to offer? Or what do you got to offer to us?
Money.
So I see the business side of it, but as a boxing fan, you want those type of fights. You call for those fights, but the business just get in the way of those fights happening.
So as a competitor, after the fight, does the business side kick in? Are you as competitive when you're looking at the numbers coming back? I know there's some estimates of over 700,000 pay-per-view buys. Are you looking at that and saying, all right, we hit our number? Are there metrics that you're looking at from the business side? What did the gate do? Like, how does that go?
Man, he got
we looking at
25
everything.
mil. He chilling.
You know, at this point in my career, we're gonna look at everything. You know, we're gonna look at the sponsorships. We're gonna look at the gate. We're gonna look at the merchandise. We're gonna look at everything. You know, because that all matters.
Mhm.
You know, and that's just part of the business.
Man, who got some
I'm
merch
thinking
from that
to
fight,
myself,
bro?
right? Because I mean, that's the first thing they'll do is like, this is one of the highest anticipated fights. They're looking at the numbers. They're saying, oh wait, well Tank fought Garcia, and that did this amount of views, and this one did this amount.
And when I said if Charlo, because I got a lot of people who just got on some bandwagon, I never said Crawford wasn't the number one pound for pound fighter in the world. The conversation was, is Tank or Canelo the face of boxing after he beat Ryan Garcia? I said if Charlo beats Canelo and he gets a loss, you can't call him the face of boxing. Now Tank is the face of boxing. That doesn't mean that Tank is better than Crawford. Just the conversation was who's the face of boxing. Not from me. This is what they were saying. And I'm like, well, in my opinion, Tank will be the face of boxing if Canelo takes a loss. Nobody was saying Crawford's the face of boxing. It's the Crawford era, and he's number one pound for pound boxer in the world. That's what they're saying about Crawford. That's what it is, bro.
Try to compare it, but
I agree.
Was there a number that was like, if we hit this is successful, or did we underperform?
No, not really. I wasn't too worried about that because I knew me and Spence will sell.
Mm-hmm.
There wasn't
Straight
a lot
up.
of extraness going on with me and him. I feel like as if it wasn't covered enough, like a Tank and a Ryan, because of it wasn't any controversy. It wasn't us bad mouthing each other. It wasn't us disrespecting each other.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't, us pushing each other or trying to do anything to
like that Jake Paul and Nate Diaz fight. They was
make
super
everybody be like, "Oh,
selling
did you
that.
see that? Did you see that?" It was
Put
just,
the purse up.
yeah, it was
It was a
mutual
boxer's
respect,
fight.
and I don't feel like two
For the
grown
sweet
men gotta
science.
put on a show just to sell a fight, and I believe that me and him proved that.
What's going on, y'all? That's right. The biggest event in business
work
is
proved
upon us. Y'all
About crypto. You will learn about thing you
Man, I pay
From
for
some
YouTube Premium.
billionaire.
Bro. I'm
We
not
have
watching that.
16 key Ford.
Oops.
So you stop working. You're not.
I don't have
and get your tickets right now.
Well, what's your relationship with Bob Aaron?
no relationship with him like that.
So you stop working. You're not on Top Rank.
No.
So
He
why
said, I
did that
don't got no
relationship end?
relationship with him.
Well, you gotta understand, once a fighter get to the point of where they start understanding business and they started asking questions and they not just taking what you offer them. Then
Hey, when you think about it, boxing is one of the only sports where the fighter can take more control of his. I don't want to say destiny, but of his career, because you can have an Odell Beckham Jr. or LeBron James, but they won't be able to have ownership of that team. You know what I'm saying? Or have equity in that team. Now you can have a boxer like Mayweather who made Mayweather Promotions, and he definitely could just control his career. That's one thing I like about boxing is it puts fighters in more of a position to be in ownership of their career. That's dope. And
things
Crawford did that
get
too.
complicated. And then at the same time, he couldn't deliver the fights that I wanted.
Right.
Not because he couldn't, it's because the relationship that he had with the other promotional company.
Al Heyman.
Yeah, with PBC and Al Heyman. So,
Who's
that was
talking
another
in the
factor.
background?
And things just didn't work out between us.
So as far as like for a long time it was Bob Arum is Al Heyman, right? And it made things complicated on the business side. The business model of boxing is like difficult for business to get done. Where like let's say like a UFC where everybody's under one umbrella, right? Boxing. So, but now a lot of guys are kind of like independent, doing their own thing. So, the future of boxing, do you see more people not necessarily having a promoter or kind of like doing like co-promotion? Because you're independent right now.
Right.
Is that something that you see more, in your opinion, that's going to happen more in the future?
I would like it to happen, but at the same time, you got to understand, you know, some of these fighters that's growing up in the hood or in the ghetto in poverty, they don't have no money.
Sure.
So when a promoter come and see their talent and say, hey, listen, I give you $500,000 signing bonus, you know, to sign with me for 5 years plus XX if you become a champion, you know, it's hard to turn that down, you know, and not have the right people around you to guide your career, because it's hard to do things on your own when you're not at this level.
Yeah.
Where you gonna fight at? How you gonna get any recognition? What network is you gonna fight at? You know, if Top Rank, PBC, the Zone don't put you on TV, nobody's gonna see you
at all.
So now what? How are you gonna market yourself? You stuck in a box where you got.
I will say it is some YouTubers like that one dude who be fighting in the pink gloves. I can't remember his name right now. He kind of building a name for himself without the big promotion fighting. But I feel like if you're not put in front of those big names, nobody's gonna really call you good, or nobody's gonna be able to measure how good you are for real. That's why when it comes to Naoya anyway, it's like, okay, yeah, he's good. He's excellent for his weight class, but if we never see him fight somebody that we can use as a good measuring stick of his skills, then we won't actually know how good he is. Like, the reason why Crawford is getting his props because his measuring stick was Spence. People respected Spence. People knew Spence beat some good guys. He beat Ugas. He beat a Porter. You know what I'm saying? So we know that this dude is nice. We seen Crawford beat a Kavalaskis in a Porter too. You know what I'm saying? So when them two fight, we don't really know who's the best. That's why the fight was so anticipated, because we don't know who's the best, but we know you guys both beat these guys. So in our eyes, it's equally matched, you know. But we can only know once you two guys go against each other who really is the best. And as we seen, who was the better man.
You got all this talent, but you ain't got nowhere to showcase it at.
Right.
You ain't got no opportunity to showcase it at. And then when you do get the opportunity, people not really gonna be hipped on you. They might see you, but then now your numbers is still at ground zero, and now they use that as a bargaining tool.
Do you think a boxing league can ever happen?
Yeah, of course. If, you know, a lot of these old fighters and, you know, people that want to clean up the sport of boxing come together and put their knowledge together and think of ways to make a organization that's fair for all fighters, then yeah, it could happen.
It could.
$600 as an amateur. That's what you were making. Your first fights, right?
My first professional
fights. So to have
600.
where you're at now, obviously, multi-million-dollar fights. You said something important in one of your interviews. You said, I had to surround myself around people who knew about money. I had no idea about money. I had no idea about financial literacy.
A lot of us don't.
Who were those people that you started surrounding yourself with early in your career, and are they still around?
Of course. So first and foremost, I surrounded myself with my 4th grade teacher. You know, she put me in contact with a lot of individuals that have a lot of money, that's wealthy, that's doing great things in life. And
shout out to the 4th grade teacher, man.
Yeah, from the accountants to the financial advisors to all that. And, you know, I went from just putting money in the bank and thinking, let me just save the money
Save it.
to actually making real investments. So
Yeah, and when you put the
yeah,
money,
it's
when you put the money in the bank and let it sit there, you still losing money because of inflation. That's some things, just the little things we just didn't know. Thinking holding on to that money gonna do something, but that money worth less and less every year.
it started with her.
Yeah, when I asked the second part about are the people still around, because when I hear you talk, there's a humbleness, but there's a sense of loyalty. Like if I watch your fights, we can see the loyalty, and we watched it when you fought in Omaha, and a lot of people are looking at it like, this, why is he fighting in Omaha? But there's a loyalty to your hometown, and when I was reading about it, I'm thinking to myself, is he taking the college athletics game plan where it's like, you know what, there isn't a major sports league here. There isn't none of the 4 professional leagues in Nebraska, but the college team is here, and it's the biggest thing in the state. If I can win Nebraska, the people will come out and support. When you were going through the process of trying to find ways where to fight, I know there was some issues with your promotional team. They didn't want you to do it. What was your mindset saying, I have to do it here, I have to bring it here? This is where loyalty lies?
No, that was just something that I always wanted to do, was give back to my city, you know, because they always been supportive of me ever since the Nationals. You know, ever since I was a little kid, they always supported me to the fullest, and I just always knew if I brought an event to Omaha that it would sell out, that they would come out, they'll support. I was fighting, you know, in barns in Iowa City, Iowa, with 50 people in it.
That's
I was
what's up.
fighting in Ames, Iowa.
Hey, Iowa got some old ass barns. I'm gonna tell you right now, them barns is from 1910, 1920, bro. Them barns is old, like old school American old.
You know, when with girls being the main event, when
Butter
it ain't
churn
nobody
old.
there, but my whole family taking that drive, and I got most of the crowd. You know, so I was coming up. It was tough, and I was just like, I don't understand the level of confidence that they got in these people, making them the headline of the show, but they wouldn't give me the opportunity to fight. And that wasn't with Top Rank. That was with TKO Promotions.
Okay.
So once I got signed by Top Rank, I stressed it, the fact that I wanted to fight in Omaha. I told them, like, listen, I want to fight in Omaha. I got a big following in Omaha, and I think it'll be big. They really too much didn't believe me. Bob and them said, you win the title, we gonna bring it back to Omaha. So once I won, they wanted to take it to Iowa, where the casinos. It's only like, what, 10 minutes away, 5 minutes away. I'm like, no, I'm not fighting there. I just had to stand my ground. Like, listen, it's Omaha or nothing, because 10,000 people, it's going to be way more than that. And they was looking like, all right, we're going to see. So once the fight got announced with me and Gamboa, and they seen the magnitude and the support of the people that came out to support me and cheer me on, they was like, man, this is crazy. This is incredible. And I'm like, I told y'all.
Well, you are the illest.
Yo, that's a fact.
That's a fact.
Nebraska.
Me, the illest thing from Nebraska. Yeah.
There's another dude that's ill from Nebraska, from out the world of business,
The Oracle of
the
Omaha.
Oracle of Omaha.
Yes.
So I'm wondering, as you're ascending in your career of boxing, is the Oracle watching you? And
Of course.
he is watching.
He likes boxing.
I know. I'm just saying,
been a few-
when's the first time he reaches out?
Well, he never reached out. You know, he came to a couple of my fights in Omaha. He came backstage, you know, showed support and love. Warren always been cool. Like, I'll sit down, meet with him. We'd chop it up for hours. You know, this is stuff that people pay $1 million to do.
That's a fact.
And
That's a big fact.
And we sitting here just chopping it up about whatever, you know, and I'm just like, man, this dude, like one of the most popular dudes on the planet damn near, and he's sitting here chopping it up with me, and we take a picture, and he like, man, put me in a headlock. I'm like, huh? I'm like, man,
First request.
like put me in the headlock. I'm like, come here. You know what I mean? Just joking around, you know, and I was just like, man, this dude real life chill. And I got the opportunity to sit down with him and, you know, have conversation with him multiple times. And I think that was real dope.
What's anything that you might have learned, picked up from him?
Oh man, just little certain investments, but it was stuff that I was already invested in. You know, I was just like, you know, what do he think about this? What do he think about that? And he gave me his opinion. And his main thing was, you know, get you a team that you can count on. His main thing was having a strong team.
I missed
and he stressed that he wouldn't been able to accomplish all the things that he accomplish if it wasn't for his team, you know. And I was like, how can I be a part of your team?
Be on the Berkshire team,
Right.
please.
We'll be on the team, you know what I mean? But
Me,
yeah,
you, and Charlie, we can get this thing going.
yeah, it was cool though.
So I saw a post where you talked about how you spent your first $1 million.
Right.
Can you talk
did
about that a
bro
little
spend
bit?
money? Because he don't look like
Yeah, we did the show, how I spent my first $1 million, and it was just that, you know, my first $1 million, most of it I spent on my family, and you know,
That's what's up.
trying to make sure everybody is set, cool. You know, I was the type of person that I really didn't care too much about shit. For me, I cared about my family, how my sisters, my mom, my nieces, my nephew, my kids, how they was. So I used to always just save my money.
Warren
and be like,
Buffett.
man, you can't take it
Hey,
with you.
that's what I was saying. I knew it was Warren Buffett. But the thing is, I know that he took a lot from Warren Buffett, and I seen that earlier, bro. I seen that earlier. I'm like, you can tell this guy knows his money. He sits down on his money, no jewelry, no fancy clothes, simple polo unit that anybody could buy. I noticed he took a lot of notes from Warren Buffett, bro. And yeah, man, this is the photo. I'm gonna put the photo up of him talking about putting Warren Buffett in a headlock, because that is sick. That's sick. And that's what I knew. I knew that, bro. I knew he took a lot from Warren Buffett, because Warren Buffett is super rich, but he's not a crazy spender. Like Warren Buffett has been living, this the headlock he put Warren Buffett in. Okay, that's super cool. And I noticed that his whole demeanor when it comes to money is influenced by Warren Buffett. And that's super cool, bro. That's super cool, bro. So yeah, Warren Buffett is a guy who's richer than most people, richer than anybody with a chain, richer than anybody with diamond rings, all that. And you wouldn't be able to tell. I don't even think he's bought a new car in years. I think he just recently bought a new car. He was driving the same car for like 15 or 20 years. That's dope.
I'm like, yeah, you're right. So I just started spending. And I'm like, oh, all right, now, like, I need to fight. So then it got to a point where, you know, I got more, you know, reasonable with my spends and stuff like that. And, you know, sisters' houses, sisters' cars, cousins' cars, nephew cars, you know, remodeled my mom whole house twice, you know, bought her car, bought my grandma car, then I bought me a house, you know, me a vehicle and stuff like that. So I took care of everybody.
Yeah, one of the other things that was impressive, and again, it speaks to the character, is that you started the B&B Academy for, you know, people to creating a gym for the youth of your hometown. You said that you're independent now from a standpoint of promoting boxing. Are you looking to, one, create your own team of fighters, and was that the vision when you created B&B?
No, that definitely wasn't the vision, but we definitely got our own team. It's called B&B Promotions. That's where me and Brian, I'm TBC Promotions. That's a different entity. Mm-hmm. But my thing was, I got kicked out of the gym that I once was at, CW Youth Resource Center, because I wouldn't sign a contract to pay them every month because I was turning pro. And I was like, nobody else was met with the contract. So I was like, man, I'm not signing nothing. And the owner just basically said, if you don't sign this, you gotta go. And I was like, all right, I'm leaving. So basically, I just left. And I just was like, man, I don't want that to ever happen to another fighter again. You know, you forcing him to do something that, you know, is against what he believe in, and he's been there since he was 7 years old. So basically, y'all trying to, you know, get over on him. You know, y'all trying to take advantage of him. And we start going to a different gym, and me and Bo came up with the idea of, man, let's just get our own gym. We ain't gotta go to nobody else's gym. We don't gotta follow nobody else's rules. Let's get our own gym. And at the time, I think it was 2012, we found the warehouse that was just full of old storage stuff. We rented one side out, you know, we didn't have nothing in it. We was just renting it out, but still using that gym. And like every time I fight, we'll put a little bit in it, And then we had, you know, a couple of friends that was helping out, you know, my boy Manny. He was paying the rent. He was like, you know what, y'all focus on boxing. I'm gonna pay the rent for 8 months. That y'all ain't gotta worry about it. And then at that time, you know, we just kept putting money in it. Then we got the ring. Then we started training there, and it wasn't open to the public. And once we got it to where the bags and everything was there, then we opened it to the public. And I was like, I don't want them to have to pay nothing. I want it to be free for everybody. They come in, get a workout. They don't got a box. They can just come for health. Health is wealth. They can come to learn how to defend themselves. They can come just to hit the bag to let some steam off. They can come to try to box, which we know everybody ain't gonna be successful in boxing. A lot of kids, they come in there, want to box, they get punched, and then they leave. But we want to encourage them, like, you don't got to box, but you can still come and train, you know, still work out. And we eventually bought the other side, made it one big gym, and half the side that we once was on, we made it a wrestling room.
That's dope.
So, yeah, it's free for all the kids and everything.
You still got ties to wrestling?
Definitely.
So what's
my kids wrestling.
Hey, you can see that wrestling when he boxed, the way he handled Spence, threw him across that ring like that.
You know, wrestling on the WWE side, right? This goes back to boxing. You are a very mild-mannered person. You said, like, the last fight, you didn't have to do a lot of, like, antics to try to promote the fight. But the fighters that have always excelled have always taken on alter egos. We've seen Floyd, he said, like, you know, when he was Pretty Boy Floyd, he was a star. When he was Money Mayweather, that's when he became the icon. Muhammad Ali, everybody knows how loud and boisterous he was. Awesome. Even Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson wasn't really that loud, but he just had a very special aura.
That was crazy.
Yeah, he had antics.
No, I mean, you're right. Oscar with Golden Boy.
Yeah.
Changed it.
Yeah. So all right. So do you ever think about that? Like, maybe I should just do a little bit more, add a little bit more flash, or are you just comfortable just staying in your lane?
Don't need it.
I always been comfortable with staying in my lane.
Earners, what's going on? Listen, EYL
On,
financial plan access will inclusive teaching career.
I never wanted to be like nobody else. You know, what's meant for me, I have. You know, if they couldn't, you know, respect me for being authentic and myself, then it wasn't meant to be. You know, I never wanted to put on a show for one's entertainment. I'm entertaining in the ring, not outside the ring. You know, you paying for what I'm doing to these guys in the ring, not for what I'm saying and hopping up and down on the stage. You know, when you look at all those guys that you just named, you know, look at what comes with what they done. Negativity. Right. They got to have all these security guards around them. They got to, you know, watch their back because so many people want to do harmful things to them just because of their actions. And not only that, now they start getting into it with people outside of the ring because of their character. You know, so yeah, I never want to be something that I'm not, because you know what you see is what you get.
For real.
You
Keep it all
built
the way around.
the gym. I believe you said it was 100,000 in, but even in that story of when you spent your first million, the most important pieces that you were buying were real estate.
Right.
Is that something, and even the renovation part, that's something that, you know, that's hands-on. How involved are you in terms of the real estate portfolio? Because I'm sure at this point it's growing. We just talked about, you know, you doing a new build. How involved are you in that process? And do you enjoy it?
Heavy. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy. I just closed on, you know, a house right before this fight, and I closed on, you know, a big old building, you know, right in the middle of this. Like, I got probably like over 40 houses.
In Nebraska?
In Nebraska. I got probably like 6, 7 apartment complexes. You know, I got land. I got, you know, storefronts. So I'm heavy in the real estate.
Talk about the land. A lot of people are interested in real estate right now, but why is it important for you to own land?
God ain't making no more land.
Right.
You know, so if you can buy some land that's in a great area, and you can build on it, you can sell it, you can rent it, you can do multiple things with it, you know, or you can just hold on to it till you figure out what you're gonna do with it, you know, because the world is constantly shifting, you know, and it may shift from one area to the another area, because that area is already, you know, too flooded. So, you know, you got to move elsewhere. So, you know, I got some real valuable properties, you know, that I'm gonna build on, and
Right.
yeah, and then it's gonna accumulate generational wealth, I would say.
So obviously, you know, you got a lot going on. Do you have somebody like that's like running those day-to-day operations of your real estate
See, I knew bro was going for the generational wealth play. You could tell he's serious about that money, and that's very important, bro.
portfolio?
Yeah, well, I'm partnered with my guy Mark, and my girl. She handles all my homes and stuff like that, and I got people that give me advice on, you know, things to buy that's hot, that's not even on the market, you know, and whatnot. So I got a lot of great opportunities for, you know, great business ventures.
When we think Omaha, we think Nebraska, I wonder from a standpoint of real estate, is there an agricultural play as well? Because we know a lot of farmland, a lot of resources come from middle of America. Are you looking at it from that standpoint, or are you looking at it from a commercial standpoint where I can bring additional businesses to add to the appreciation?
All.
Right.
You know, I got, like I said, I got 20 acres, you know, that I'm building on right now, you know, and I can do all that there. You know, I can build a greenhouse out in the back of my yard. I can put some cows and stuff, horses in the back of my yard, you know.
That's hard.
That's not
That's the goal.
anything that I can't do. I already have the storefronts and all that. So yeah, like the sky's the limit.
The sky
Let's
is
talk
the
about
limit.
boxing. All right, if you had to give advice for a young fighter coming up, right? What path? Because it's like, I think your path, you sign with a promotional company and then you go independent. That's pretty common with a lot of boxers. And then it's like, do you just do one-off deals? We saw Canelo, he did a major deal with the streaming service.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody's ever watching these fights though, but he's getting paid regardless.
30 million each.
There's different strategies. Like, what do you think? Like one-off deals, the streaming service way, the long-term partnership with a promoter. Like, what do you think is the best way to go about it?
Well, it's hard for you to say that because, like I said, you know, what part in a career are we talking? Are we talking when you first start, or when you become champion or when you
Like as a champion, like once you're established already, so now you got leverage, right? You don't have leverage when you first start, so I guess you have to go with a promoter.
it depends on how your name is. Like I said, that takes to where I was saying you can become a champion, but nobody really too much care about who you are. You know, do you got a name that's being marketed? Do you got a name that's being pushed? Because some promoters, they'll keep you on this level where you need them
On purpose.
You know what I mean? Yeah, they don't want you to
Get too
reach
big.
that. They don't want you to reach too high. So, you know what I mean? They ain't gonna do certain things to push you to be this superstar. Because once you become a superstar, you outgrow the belts. You outgrow the promotional
That's what
company.
Mayweather
Your
taught
name
that.
speaks for itself. Kind of like Floyd Mayweather, you know, Manny Pacquiao, Oscar De La Hoya. You know, they can do anything in boxing when they was boxing, and they didn't have to have a title. They didn't have to be named champion. Those sanctioning bodies wanted to be a part of them. Like Canelo right now. Canelo don't have to be champion. He's made a name for himself,
Right.
and he's earned the right to do what he's doing right now, and that's going to get a bag from here, going here, doing business with them, because he's got a name, and everybody know that if Canelo make a fight, then the people in Mexico is going to support him. The people in the United States is going to support him, and it's going to be a big event.
When you're, I mean, now as you're doing this independently, and for people who are not familiar with how boxers make money, because I read something interesting that there was hedge funds that were willing to put up the purse for you in the Spence fight, which is like, okay, it's a lot of money. So like, how do our boxers get the money? It's the purse, it's maybe percentage of the gate, concessions. What are the streams of income?
It
depends on-
live show.
It depends.
What you negotiate,
It
right?
depends on, you know what I mean, the fighter. See, in my case, you know, I get a percentage of everything that come in. Every penny that come in, I get a percentage of it. You know, if you sign a guarantee, then that's all you get. You know, one thing about the hedge fund that, you know, I'm kind of glad that we didn't, you know, sign that, given that we don't get paid until they make their money back. You know what I mean? So once they make their money back, then they get a percentage of, you know what I mean, everything that comes in. So it kind of take away from the fighters. Towards, you know what I mean, us betting on ourselves. We just like, all right, whatever come in, it's gonna be us.
So, but if, like at this level, that the marquee guys, like the purse is the guarantee money that they get, win or lose.
Win or lose.
And then if you could get more than that if the pay-per-view numbers come back.
Right.
Like
Right.
royalties.
You know what I mean? Some people get like probably like 8%, 9% of a pay-per-view fight. They probably get like, I was getting what, 6, 8% of the gate. You know what I mean? So like I said, your promoter, he's getting all that.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. If you're getting 6%, then there's somebody that's getting the 94%.
Yeah, I was getting 6% of the gate. I was getting 8 to 6% of the pay-per-view shares after it meet
Sorry.
like a certain number that it never met.
hits.
Yeah. So
Right.
Put some crazy.
you know,
That's how they do rap
That's what I
contracts.
mean by when I say boxing is kind of shady. Well, it ain't kind of shady. It is shady.
So essentially, all right, a
Business
kid,
is shady.
16 years old, shows very promising
Everything
career
is
ahead of
streets.
himself. I'm a promoter, right? I come in, I give the kid $500,000. I sign him to an 8-year contract.
Never.
Huh?
Never.
Longer?
No, never. You can't sign nobody for 8 years.
How long?
I hope you
How long can you sign him?
5.
5.
5.
All right, so
That's standard.
I signed him for a 5-year contract as soon as he turns pro, and I pay for his training. I pay for a lot of the promotion, but I'm receiving the majority of the money. It's an investment for me because he might not even work out.
Right.
Yeah.
If he does work out, I'm gonna recoup all of that money on the back end.
Times 10.
So you really, but it's really looking at it like if I got 10 fighters, 9 of them probably not gonna work out. So the one fighter that does work out,
But you're gonna get. But the thing is like this. You know, you're not gonna. You know, you've been around boxing long enough
so you
to
can
know,
tell which one.
You know what I mean?
Hey.
What fighters bring to the table and what fighters that you thought was gonna be something that they not, because it's how you move them. You know, you got all this money invested in him. You're not about to get him beat. You're not about to put him in there with some crazy opponent.
Yeah.
So you constantly grooming him step by step. And if you don't see what you know what I mean, you want to see in them, then you're going to throw them to the wolves and you're going to have your other fighter knock him off and you still make money. You're going to make as much money as you can with him, you know, while you got him to
Like
recoup the money that you invested in him. And then you're going to get him knocked off. And then after that, after you can't use him, you're going to
Find the next guy.
you're going to cut him just like that. You're going to say, oh, termination. We don't want you no more. And I find that kind of messed up as well, you know, that a promotional company can say they could terminate your contract like this, you know, but you can't terminate
The promotional company.
the promotional contract like, all right, I don't want you to promote me no more.
Yeah.
So it's always a one-way street.
It's a large percentage. So like even like the networks, so like when Showtime does a
sports
fight,
attorney.
HBO does a fight, they're inside of that 94% as well. Right? If you're making 6% off to the pay-per-view.
Yeah, you gotta understand, like when these networks go to a promotional company, they give a promotional company a budget. And they say, okay, well, here, this is for
It's all entertainment.
this fight, these two guys to fight. You know, and you don't know about that. It could be $10 million, it could be $5 million. You know, they give you $1 million, they give you $1.5 million, and they just pocket the rest. Because it ain't like you can say, oh, well, what they put it on the table, or sometimes you don't know.
In terms of sponsorships, we've seen some fighters have deals with athletic companies. I wonder how you approach that, right? Like I've seen, I remember when Roy Jones had the Jordan brand, and I was like, yo, this is crazy. You got a Jordan sneaker. And then, you know, Floyd did the quick thing with Reebok. What's that like for you in terms of athletic brands and sponsorships when it comes to your portfolio?
It's very tough nowadays because a lot of those big marquee brands is going to other sports,
Right.
like football, basketball, and other sports. So when you look at the Jordan brand, Andre Ward was the last one to have a Jordan brand.
Right.
You know, when you look at the Under Armour, Canelo was the last one to have an Under Armour brand. Reebok, Floyd was the last one.
Nike, I think Nike did something with Pacquiao.
Nike did something with Pacquiao, and that was it.
Yeah.
That was it. You know, so you'll see a lot of people wearing Nike. You'll see a lot of people wearing Adidas, and Adidas give a little money. Everlast give a little money, but not
What it used to be.
to the level of, you know, what I mean, what they was doing back then.
So there's been reports that some fighters like Regis Progress
Progress.
weren't paid in full after their bouts. Has that ever happened to you?
No, I believe he got his money, but I don't know nothing about that.
Okay.
I heard about it, but I don't know.
You've never seen that though.
Yeah.
Okay, like a fighter actually fought and then still didn't. It's like that's like going to a club and performing.
Yeah, especially if you got a
Not getting
guarantee
that
you're
back
supposed to
end.
get paid right after the
I wouldn't
fight.
feel comfortable if I owed you money.
Yeah, you gotta pay a boxer.
Yeah, I'm like, it's not gonna end well.
Yeah, definitely.
Bro said,
Definitely.
Well, can we talk about Black Prime?
Yeah, let's go.
So, did you sign for $10 million for that? Allegedly.
Allegedly.
That boy get
Allegedly.
So what happened with that situation? Because that's not even. Is it still around or?
Yeah, it's still around. They
Okay.
still doing fights and all that.
Okay.
You know, they reached out to me. They wanted to do business, and they was looking for the opportunity to step in on a bigger platform, because they was on a little low platform, and they shot me a number, and I was just like, huh? All right, you know. And at that time, I was in negotiations with Errol last year, and the negotiations was going south. You know, we wasn't really getting anything accomplished. We was just going back and forth. But I wasn't talking with Errol. I was just talking with his handlers and stuff like that. And I was just like, look, this is what needs to be put on the table for me to fight. And they basically was like, look, take it or leave it. You ain't got nowhere else to go. So at that point in time, I was just like, okay, all right. See y'all in a minute. You know what I mean? And I reached back out to BLK Prime, and it was like, man, we with it. You know, who you want to fight? I'm like, I'll fight anybody. So at the time, we picked the highest rating person available, and that was David Avanesian. He was ranked number 6 in the division. You know, and we got the fight done, and I got paid, and you know, I went back to the drawing board and went back to the table and said, hey, look, you know, is we gonna get this fight lined up, or
right? There's a lot of politics with it.
Keep waiting.
So the most important thing to you, boxing is your career, but the most important thing, and it's evident every time I watch your fights, I see that front row, I see that family and being a father. Talk about that inside of, you know, the strenuous training of preparing for something that like a prize fight. Because even after the fight, I know you were still involved, like checking your kid's schedule. Like I gotta be at this track meet. So like talk about that for a little bit.
Yeah, he got a little
being
squad.
A father is one of the greatest things that ever happened to me.
That's what's up.
You know, I always say, being a father saved my life. Because I was out in the streets,
for real,
getting shot, doing the most. You know what I mean? Right. And once I had my first son, like that just changed my whole way of thinking. You know, because I gotta be here for him. I didn't want to be that selfish to be still doing the negative stuff that I was doing and end up in jail or dead. And then now, you know, he's growing up without a father, and in this day and age, it wouldn't have been good for him
at all.
You know, so
matter of fact, bro, it's so crazy. We just seen. I'm on my porch, bro, and we see 4 kids. Like they look like they was in high school at the most. They seen the police at the light. I got an intersection right here outside my window, and as soon as they seen the police, they peel off, veering to the fence right next to my house, and crash the car into the gate. All 4 of them hop out and jump and run away from the cops. You know what I'm saying? Just like that, right outside my door, bro. So it's like, it is really important to be in your kid's life, man. Like this world getting a little too crazy to be playing around, bro. But we just gonna stop it right there. Family is important. Family first. We got Crawford breaking down a little bit of the business of the boxing game and how it works, and it's all the same, you know. Entertainment is still the streets. My knuckles ashy as hell, bro. And that's just what it is, man. That's what it be sometimes. But we already cooking for an hour, man. So it's your boy Shaka Billionaire Mafioso, the Dun Dada Coders Ninja with a nunchuck swinging behind his back, aka Shaka Blacc, aka Shaka Fuego, aka SB Panther, aka Shaka Billionaire, aka Shaka Flame, man. Y'all let me know what y'all think in comments down below, man. How the boxing game works, how the money of the boxing game works. Earn Your Leisure is a dope network to get your financial literacy up. So, you know what I'm saying? I like cooking on stuff like that. That's really important that we can build on, that we can utilize, because Terrence Crawford beating Errol Spence is entertaining to watch, but what can we take away from that other than, you know, trying to fight like him and utilizing that? But other than that, we ain't going to be able to use that in real life because we regular for civilians, you know what I'm saying? But stuff like this, you get to see the ins and outs of business and learn certain things, and you can pick up on and learn your investments and try to make yourself more financially literate, you know? But y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments down below. It's your boy signing out. Peace.